there with Bartholomew County and Jackson County. So as this thing goes due to the east, I think it's going to probably stay even out of northern Jackson County. And then you've got some rotation right around Columbus and Bartholomew County, which again is out of our viewing area. So this is a fringe event, but you know the deal here with our First Alert Storm Team. If we have a tornado in the viewing area, we are going to stay on no matter how many people are impacted from it. You have to keep in mind, of course, you know, any area is important, even areas that are away from Metro Louisville. If you're here in Metro Louisville right now, you've been outside, it's a great evening. Sure, it's windy, it's a little bit muggy, but we do have those thunderstorms that are ongoing up here to our north. So putting the watch and warning query back on here, if it'll come back on.
And just to mention this too, TG, just to keep them updated on how long that warning will last in northern Jackson County and southern and south central Indiana, also in west central Jenkins County and southeastern Indiana, the warning is going to be in effect until 9 o'clock p.m. All right. We also want to make sure that you guys understand that these severe thunderstorm warnings are capable of producing tornadoes. So if there's any place where there's a severe thunderstorm warning, tornadoes can be produced as well, right, TG?
Yep, absolutely. So there are your warnings right there. Again, we're about 8 minutes away from the warning that, again, is out of the viewing area. The one till 8:30, that's Bartholomew County, which is up north of Seymour, up the interstate toward Columbus. That is not in the WHAS viewing area. The one that we're concerned with, literally the rotation is on the Brown County and Jackson County line. It's north of Brownstown, it's north of Seymour. So with it being 8:22, I'll be interested to see whether the Weather Service or not. And you have to keep in mind, our three northern counties, which are Lawrence County, Jackson County, and Jenkins County, those counties are warned by the Indianapolis National Weather Service, not here in Louisville. So that's their responsibility. So I'll be interested to see if they continue to push that eastward, given the fact that that rotation literally is, I'll just put a circle on it here. You can almost see a little bit of an appendage right there north of Brownstown. That's where the rotation is on the reflectivity. Again, showing you the velocity data as we typically do doesn't do much good because it's just so far from the radar site. If I could get Indy's site up, we might be in a little bit better shape. But again, I don't think with the show that we've got here, I don't know that we have that available or loaded up. But nevertheless, that's where the rotation is right now, and that's one of the reasons why I think that we're looking at that tornado warning continuing as we get through the next half hour to 45 minutes. Here's a radar loop, and again, other than running up the Bluegrass Parkway between Bardstown and E-Town, there's just a little cell. All the action is just on our northern fringe counties between Seymour and then up toward Indy. So the lion's share of our WHAS 11 viewing area is in the clear. So that's what we're looking at right now. Which radar were you using here? Okay, let me...
And you know what? When I put on the hail tracker on this, and I ended up seeing that a lot of the hail there was not even up to 1 inch. It was less than 1 inch. Less than 1 inch. And when it's an inch or more, TG, that's when it's really strong hail.
Yeah, obviously the concern here, again, is for the rotation that we're seeing along the Brown County and Bartholomew County and northern Jackson County line. Let me put the cursor here. Again, right here in this area where you see the blue arrow, that little bit of a notch there, this is where we're seeing the rotation. So here's southern Brown County out of our viewing area. Here's southern Bartholomew County, which is not in our viewing area. But northern Jackson County is in our viewing area. So Freetown, it's just to your northeast. Seymour, it's going to be awfully close to you. So with that tornado warning in effect for another 35 minutes, if you're in Seymour or north of Seymour up to the county line with Jackson and Bartholomew County up US 31, again, go to a safe place, a basement, If you don't have a basement, an interior room, the lowest level of your home, again, preferably a closet or a bathroom away from exterior windows and walls. And if you're in a mobile home, that is not the place to be, even with a potential weak tornado. I mean, typically in these types of scenarios, this time of the year, we end up with potentially EF0, EF1 damage. Typically, they're not on the ground very long. They can go down, do some damage, lift back up again. So obviously better safe than sorry. So let me put another track on this since it's been a little while. Again, moving due east at around 30 miles per hour, just updated there. So actually, let me kill that off and put another track on it here. So with that eastward movement, just kind of zeroing in on that, again, I think it's really probably just going to be on the north side of Seymour, but some of the areas, Little Acre, which is right on the Bartholomew-Jackson County line, it's going to be in there at about 8:38, so that's about 12 minutes from now. Reading at 8:39, Fleming at 8:47, and then over toward North Vernon at about 9:05. So it's going to be a case where, unfortunately, we're going to have to keep an eye on this thing over the next half hour or so. So while it is skirting northern Jackson County with its eastward trajectory, that's eventually going to put it front and center, moving into the western part of Jennings County, and eventually over toward North Vernon and Queensville here around the top of the hour. So that's really going to be the biggest concern here at this point. Let me see if we can take a look at the velocity data, if it's cleared up anymore. Yeah, that sweeps a little bit better. So what we're looking at here, and let me zoom in just a bit. When we look at the velocity data, what the velocity data is, it is what the winds are doing relative to the radar site. You have to keep in mind that the radar site is to the south, down toward Louisville. So anything in red is going away from the radar site. Anything in green is going toward the radar site. So the area that we're seeing that rotation is actually right here just west of Interstate 65, but it is up in Bartholomew County. The other area is right here around Spraytown, which is in extreme northwestern Jackson County. That's one of the reasons that we continue to have that tornado warning, which stretches over through northern Jackson and into the west central part of Jennings County until the top of the hour. So that's about another 28 minutes from now. Nothing overly strong, but again, keep in mind the radar beam starts at the radar site and it is elevated. So the farther that it gets away from the radar site, the higher it shoots up into the storm. And with this being a good 50-55 miles north of Louisville, north of the radar site. In fact, we'll kind of broaden things out here, and I'll just show you. We'll do a measurement on it here, just how far it is away from the radar site. So from that cell, yeah, you're about 65 miles away from it. So generally speaking, you're probably 8, 9, 10,000 feet up in the storm. Obviously, you can have some rotation, and you do have rotation higher in the storm. The key is getting that to the ground. So the fact that there is some spin in that validates, or at least warrants, this tornado warning that continues up here again into northern Jackson County and over into looks like Jennings County. Although, yeah, it's just a small part of Jennings County. It looks like Indy reissued the warning a little bit farther to the east. So they took this area northwest of Brownstown up toward Freetown out of it. So it's just this small little sliver here, and I'll just kind of draw a circle. It's this area right here. So it's just a very, very small part. So we're looking at extreme northwestern Jennings County and extreme northeastern Jackson County. So Seymour, you're not in the polygon. Just keep an eye on things, you're okay. But if you're in Seymour or supposed to head up toward Indy here in the next half hour, 45 minutes, stay put for now. Same story up US 31, because that's where the potential rotation is. And it looks like they just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for the central part of Bartholomew County and then up beyond north of Jennings County for that rotation that I just showed you a second ago. So we're in the clear as far as the WHAS viewing area is concerned. The only area that we really got to worry about is right here, this
Where we see that red and
yeah,
green.
where you see the red and the green, and that's what I was talking about a second ago. Let me zoom in just a little bit closer here. Again, anything in red is going away from the radar site, which is to the south in Louisville. Anything in green is going toward the radar site. Even though it's broad, when you get those side by side, that indicates that you have some circulation. So it's right there around Indiana State Route 58. It's northeast of Freetown. It's northwest of Cortland. But here is Seymour. And remember, we talked about the eastward movement of it. So let me put a quick track on this here. And this should show that I think we're okay in Seymour as long as this thing continues to move due to the east. Obviously, the storm up toward Columbus, it is no longer a threat for northern Jackson or Jennings County. And then once this thing gets through here, hopefully it will continue to weaken. But again, you just have these small communities north of Seymour, just right along the Bartholomew-Jackson County line, and then over into western Jennings County, Bobtown, and then Little Acre. So if you're north of Seymour in any of those rural areas of northern Jackson County, again, be in your safe place here. That's what you're going to want to do. Let me flip back to the reflectivity data here, clear this off, and kind of give you...
look at that rotation there that we're seeing.
A bird's eye view. Yeah, you got a little bit of an appendage there on the back end of it. So that's the spot where we could potentially have some trouble. So there... that's the only game in town. Here's Louisville. We're good. That cell that was south of Louisville down around E-Town and Bardstown, it has whittled away to nothing. But the area of concern, the area that's under the tornado watch for southern Indiana, that's where we're seeing, again, these pretty powerful thunderstorms. Obviously, you're looking at the potential of some damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. You got a good bit of lightning as far as the hail goes. Doesn't look like we've got a ton of hail. That one cell that we're watching for the rotation, you may get some pea-size up to dime-size hail max, but I really think that's about it. So I'm going to pop the radar velocity back on here, and given the fact that we only have a small sliver of our northern fringe counties left in this tornado warning, and we've got about another half hour to go, and we're not seeing a lot of rotation, I think we're going to go ahead, Max, here and send you back to programming. But again, there it is one more time.
Yeah.
We've got the tornado warning for just a small part of northern, northeastern Jackson County and a very, very small part of northwestern Jennings County. North Vernon, you're not in it. Seymour, you're not in it. It's just some of those rural areas.
And we also got a report that just came in from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. No reports of damage so far. So that's a good thing, because straight line winds could really cause some possible damage for those areas in those mornings.
Yeah, everything again is well north of Louisville. We have no issues whatsoever. I think give it another half hour or so, and we're going to be in good shape. So again, Seymour, just keep an eye on things. Of course, we'll have the watches, the warnings running continuously at the bottom of your screen, but it does look like right now that rotation is going to pass just north of you, because again, you are not in that tornado warning polygon, nor is North Vernon at this point, but we will have to watch basically the northern part of Jennings County from North Vernon, US 50 northward, as that cell tracks eastward. If it continues to show that rotation, the Indy office may end up throwing a tornado warning out for the northern part of Jennings County coming up here, probably within the next 15 to 20 minutes. But for now, given the small area that's impacted, mainly the rural areas, not going to affect Seymour or North Vernon for the time being. We'll send you back to programming. We'll continue to monitor it here in the First Alert Storm Center and Weather Center, and we'll continue to keep you updated. Again, watch for updates at the bottom of your screen, and we will cut back in as needed. Now let's send you back to regular programming.
Meet Aquapana with its
I'm meteorologist T.J. Shuck in the WHS-11 First Alert Storm Team Weather Center, continuing to track severe weather across our extreme northern counties of southern Indiana. We've got a couple of tornado warnings still to be concerned with. We've got one for northern Jackson and western Jennings County, and that one goes until 9:30. Really, we've got two areas of rotation. I wanted to show you the warnings that we had first and foremost, and then we'll get a track on these. But actually, the radar data is showing, again, two different distinct areas of rotation here. I'll switch over from our precipitation data to our velocity data, and that shows what the winds are doing relative to the radar site. So there are two particular areas that I want to point out here. One is right here, northwest of Brownstown, and you see the circulation here just to the west of North Vernon. Now, both of these are within that tornado polygon that runs until 9:30. That was just issued a couple of minutes ago. So really there's two areas of concern there. Again, when you're looking at the radial velocity here, you're looking at what the winds are doing relative to the radar site, meaning anything in red, you see the sweep going around, that's our max HD radar that is down here toward Louisville. So anything in red is going away from the radar site, anything in green is going toward the radar site. So when you see those signatures side by side, that's an indication that you may have some rotation. So if you're in Freetown in northern Jackson County, you need to be in a safe place, go to a basement. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, the lowest level of your home, preferably a closet or a bathroom. If you're in a mobile home, you need to have hopefully a predetermined safer structure to go to in the event of a tornado warning, which is what we have right now. So I'm going to put individual tracks on these, even though they're within that tornado warning polygon. Simultaneously, they're going to affect two areas, one in northern Jennings, one in northern Jackson. So let me put a track on the first potential rotation here. And again, this is right around Freetown, and both of these are moving off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So Freetown, basically it's on top of you right now, or at least just on the northern side of Freetown. So again, that's critical with that rotation. Now, keep in mind, we haven't had anything confirmed yet, but, you know, the rotation looks decent because we have the brighter red next to the green, and then some of the other areas affected. Surprise at 9:03. You don't want to be surprised with this. You want to be in a safe place. Cortland at 9:13, and then over toward Fleming, which is right on the Jackson-Jennings County line, at about 9:30, so that's about 25 minutes from now. That's the first rotation. Now let me slide over, and again, I'm showing you the relative wind here as opposed to the precipitation data, because with the precipitation data you're not able to pick out where the circulation is located, and that's the beauty of the dual polarity and the velocity data, because it gives you that circulation signature, so you can really point out those areas where we could potentially have that tornado. So here's a second area of rotation. This one is moving out of, really basically it is on the Jackson, Jennings, and Bartholomew County line. In fact, it just updated, so I do want to put a fresh track on it because, again, it's moving east at 30 miles per hour. So if you are in North Vernon along US 50, that's probably, it has a track in there within about 15 minutes. I think it's probably going to be sooner than that. So if you're in Queensville or North Vernon or over toward Nebraska, which is extreme eastern Jennings County, with that circulation there, doesn't seem to be as tight as the one back over northern Jackson County. You want to be in a safe place. Again, tornado warnings out until 9:30 for these locations that I'm talking about. But North Vernon, of course, right there along US 50, that between North Vernon and Queensville, that's where it appears that it will probably cross at least the circulation on radar. And again, keep in mind, the radar beam, as it goes away from the radar site, it gets higher up into the atmosphere. So this is probably shooting, you know, maybe 7, 8, 9,000 feet up. So obviously there's some broad rotation aloft, but in this kind of environment, it doesn't take much to get this down to the ground. So always better safe than sorry in this type of setup. So you want to be in your safe place as we speak here. I will put it back on the precipitation data because we have, again, a lot of moisture starting to come up from the Gulf of Mexico. So some very, very heavy rains across northern Jackson and northern Jennings County. Basically anywhere along and north of US 50 running through Jackson County and Jennings County, those are the areas that are going to currently be under the gun and will continue to be, I think, for the next half hour, maybe even 45 minutes. Because we have another cell back here, and let me switch over to the velocity data and see if we're seeing any rotation in that cell at all. Back northwest of Bedford, don't see anything there. So we're in pretty good shape as far as that goes. But again, the two areas of concern are the cell that's just about to cross out of Jackson County into northwestern Jennings, and then the one that is almost due west of Seymour, extreme northern Jackson County. That's where we have the circulation. And let this be a lesson. This is what I'm talking about as far as the precipitation data. If you look at this, you're just looking at a big blob of rainfall. You're not able to pick out where we have the potential rotation. It's right here, and then again, it's right here in this area. When we switch over to the velocity data, it shows what the winds are doing relative to the radar site. There you have your two areas of circulation. One here just off to the west-northwest of Seymour, and the other one coming up on North Vernon. So again, those are the two larger cities there in Jackson and Jennings County. So I'm a little bit more concerned about this one up here in Jennings County because the pink is a little bit brighter there, which would indicate a little bit more of a signature, despite the fact that we're shooting fairly high aloft here. While I've got that up, I'm going to switch our other radar that is off the air here to kind of check out and see just how far up in the atmosphere we're shooting. So it's only about 6,000 feet up. So just looking from the Louisville radar to this signature right here that's west of North Vernon, again, you're about 6,000 feet up from the radar site down here in Louisville, pointing it out for you. Here's your circulation right here. So North Vernon, you need to take cover now, go to a basement. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, the lowest level of your home, preferably a closet or a bathroom, an area that does not have any windows. That looks like a fairly decent signature at this point. You see the reds against the greens, and that's where winds are going opposite directions. So you see the pink up against the green. There's your circulation. And again, it is coming up on Indiana State Route 7 and the northwestern side of North Vernon. So I'm going to pull out here quickly, put a track on it. Let me stick the warnings on here again, just so you can kind of get your bearings here. See if the radar query will pop up. For whatever reason, it has not been doing that.
Too, TG, it's about 9 miles away from some more right now.
Yeah, so there are your warnings. Okay, so Jennings County, for that cell that I'm talking about, it is now, that warning has been extended until 9:45, so about the next 45 minutes. This thing's going to be moving across Jennings County, and it's going to come awfully close to North Vernon right along US 50. And then as we go back to the west, Seymour, it's off to your west, and the circulation here for this tornado warning that includes the northern part of Jackson County, western Jennings County, actually having nothing to do with the cell that is west of North Vernon. You see here, these are two different warnings. The circulation is not as great northeast of Freetown, and it's about to cross into southern Bartholomew County, which is out of our viewing area up toward Jonesville. But the one that we're really concerned about here is the one that is coming up here on North Vernon. Let me get rid of the warning radar query here. I'm going to pull out just a bit and we're going to put a track on this, and then I'm going to go down to street level, because given how this thing is looking, I want to call out some particular areas here, given the fact that it does have some brighter colors, which would indicate, again, this is a fairly rural area up into Jennings County. So North Vernon here, it's 9:02 Eastern time. Within about 6 minutes, you see how US 50 kind of snakes its way just on the north side of North Vernon. It's going to be in that area within the next 5 to 6 minutes. So zooming in, again, Queensville, you need to be in your safe place if you're along Indiana State Route 7 on the northwest side of North Vernon. It looks like it's going to pass just to your north. So it looks like it's right over the Country Manor Street area. US 50, again, curls around downtown North Vernon, but up 5th Street and then out North County Road 20W, up Indiana State Route 3, Indiana State Route 7, where they split there. This is where that circulation is going to cross. So it looks like just north of downtown North Vernon, and basically it's on top of the Queensville area, which is just northwest of US 50 as you get across the north central part of Jennings County. So that's up close and personal, about as tight as we get. County Road 350 north of North Vernon. Looks like, well, it was Montreux Industrial Parkway. Again, 350 North 4th Street. Any of those areas north of downtown North Vernon. Again, you see this radar signature here, which is indicating the potential of a tornado warning for Jennings County, our northern fringe county here in southern Indiana, until 9:45. This thing is moving east at about 30 miles per hour. So it may be going a bit faster than that, because it seems to be at least picking up the pace over the last 15, 20 minutes. But your track here on the rotation, moving east at about 30. So again, Queensville, it's 9:04. It's on top of you right now. North Vernon, within the next 5 minutes. Haven't had any reports of any confirmation of anything on the ground. And again, with it being about 6,000 feet up, the pink spike there, could be an anomaly, but you see it just disappeared as the next scan came through. But clearly there is some broad rotation elevated in that cell, and it does not take a lot to get that down to the ground, because the scenario that we have up across southern Indiana is we've got a warm front that is kind of arcing through the area right now, and what you get is you get winds that turn as you go up in the atmosphere. You get shear, as we call it, coming across that warm front. So the winds go different directions, and that creates that spin, and that's why we're in the environment in southern Indiana for the potential of tornadoes, while meanwhile down here in Louisville, we're high and dry. It's a warm, muggy summer night. We got nothing going on, but with that warm front just laid across our northern counties, that's what's made the difference with the stronger thunderstorms and potential tornadic activity up here in southern Indiana across Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings County. A lot of lightning with that cell that has a rotation in it there. North Vernon northward up Indiana State Route 3 and Indiana State Route 7, North Vernon northward. Torrential rain, a lot of lightning. Anywhere in central or northern Jennings County, again, be in your safe place. There will be additional stronger storms coming your direction here, but at this point, the circulation in that cell that was looking decent back northwest of Freetown and northwestern Jackson County, it doesn't look as impressive, for lack of a better, like you can barely even pick it up here on the radar. It's literally right here on the Bartholomew County, Jackson County line. Waymansville's in southern Bartholomew County, Spraytown's in extreme northern Jackson County. So again, compared to what it was, say, 5-10 minutes ago. In fact, let me just scoop back a couple of frames. See how it was looking kind of impressive there around Houston, and then it's not looking that impressive at all. Meanwhile, we go over here to the cell that literally is on top of North Vernon, and we'll go back a couple of frames, and you see how this thing looks, even though it's, again, pretty far from the radar site, about 6,000 feet up in the cell. We've got some circulation. We've got a tornado warning out until 9:45, and it is right on top of the north side of North Vernon in Jennings County. So basically from downtown North Vernon northward, up Indiana State Route 7, up Indiana State Route 3, up toward Brewersville, anywhere between there, again, being a safe place. And I know folks in Louisville may be watching saying, hey, the weather's great here. We have to serve the entire viewing area, and anytime we have a tornado warning out for any of our counties, even our northern fringe counties, it's about public safety, folks. We'll go on and stay on until the threat passes. Now, looking at our warning data here, putting the query on, here's the updated warnings. Jackson County and the western part of Jennings County, I think we've got probably 20 minutes to go here. The rotation isn't as, again, impressive as it was. You can kind of see it back here. Let me circle it for you because you may be looking at this saying, what on earth am I looking at? This is a velocity data. It's how the winds go relative to the radar site. Anything in red is going away from the radar site, which is to the south. Anything in green is going toward. When you get those colors side by side right here and right here, those are your two circulation centers. So for the one that is northwest of Seymour, that's your tornado warning for northern Jackson and northwestern Jennings County until 9:30. And then we have the other tornado warning that was issued about 10 minutes ago, and this is for the northern and northeastern part of Jennings County. And between the two of those, you can see the circulation that is literally over North Vernon and Jennings County. That is the more impressive of the two. I think one thing that we need to try and see, be it social media or whatever, maybe Alicia, you can check with the newsroom.
Absolutely.
Have them call up into Jennings County and see if they've gotten any reports, because this thing has been showing some decent signs of circulation, and the algorithm that we have with our kind of off-the-air radar here has the percentage for the potential of a tornado, relatively high. And again, it has a lot of low-level shear with it, and that's what you need. And with that warm front, as I mentioned, literally stretching across those counties, you're getting that change in wind direction that you need.
And you know what, TG, one thing that we really have to stress, too, is also the straight line winds and damaging winds. Just because you don't see that rotation in your area, damaging winds can be just as harmful, especially if this storm is going to be moving closer to your area. So you want to really make sure that you're in your safe spot. And as TG and I are looking at this, we're looking for areas of not only rotation, but we're looking for debris as well to really see if this thing has really made its way down to the surface there. So we don't want it to touch down on ground, but we're looking at these areas really, really closely. And that's why it's so important to really stay focused on where we see the red and green together, where we see that couplet in areas of rotation, right, TG?
Yeah, absolutely. And that, again, looking at our off-site radar with the Indianapolis site, can't show you that here on our on-air display. It's not populating for whatever particular reason, but both the Louisville radar and our site out of Indianapolis both showing some decent signs of rotation. There is severe thunderstorm warning out of our viewing area over into Ripley County, over toward Versailles there, up US 421, again, out of the viewing area. Once this gets out of eastern Jennings County, hopefully our threat level will begin to go down, because looking back here to the west, I wouldn't be surprised if Indianapolis didn't cancel the warning for northern Jackson and western and northwestern Jennings County until 9:30, if they didn't maybe knock that one off a little bit early, because I don't see the distinct rotation back here to the west. If I was splitting hairs here and looking for it, it's in that general area, but it's nothing like it was a little while ago. Obviously, what is front and center is my mic going out, Max? Oh, okay. It must be my IFB. I heard it heard it crackling in and out. So let's concentrate on this cell here over North Vernon, because it's still showing the rotation. And again, that is an area of concern. Let me take the warning query off, and then we'll put a track on it. And again, we're getting out into the more rural areas of eastern and especially northeastern Jennings County. It's right over top of literally the north side of downtown North Vernon. It's right on top of US 150. It's out North County Road 20W. There you see North Vernon, some of the streets downtown, East Buckeye Street, West Walnut Street. This thing is passing at least that circulation, and hopefully we haven't seen anything on the ground. And so far as reports go, the only thing that I've seen as far as on our other source up into Bartholomew County, and this was earlier. Evidently, there was a potential touchdown out in a field, but the train spotter lost sight of it because it was rain wrapped. And that's the other issue that you run into with a lot of these cells. We see the circulation, but they can be difficult to spot. That's one of the reasons why you don't need to be going out when you're under a tornado warning, you got rotation coming toward you, to go out and try to take pictures, see where it is, whatnot, because many times these things are rain wrapped and you can't even see them, assuming that there is anything reaching the ground. So that's just something to keep in mind. So basically North Vernon, taking it out to the county line, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. Literally the only area is out toward the Nebraska community, which is right on the Jennings County and Ripley County line. Ripley County over off into Cincinnati's viewing area. So that's, again, we're just literally on the northern fringe here. But the fact that we have a tornado warning in our viewing area affecting one of our counties, we go on, we stay on until the threat has cleared. So I've kept this velocity data up for quite a while. And if you watch our severe weather coverage, this is what we use to disseminate what the winds are doing, again, relative to the radar site. If you just look at our regular precipitation data, again, you see a big blob of precipitation. You have no idea where the potential circulation could be. And of course, that is critical when you got a tornado warning going on. A lot of lightning with this cell up over Jennings County. So you'll want to keep that in mind. I am going to do one thing here. I'm going to take a look at just bear with me here briefly. Take a look at our storm reports and see if we have anything that has popped in over the area over the last little while. So yeah, here's over the last 24 hours of storm reports, and just zooming in on that area. There are our three northern counties, Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings County. And again, all of our storm reports as far as potential tornadoes have been off to the north. So
this was in TG. I want to mention this too. Jackson County in Indiana, the sheriff's office actually reported that a funnel cloud was off along 925 East near I-65. All right, and it was seen over the overpass near mile marker 53.
Okay.
So it's heading east.
Okay, given the time frame of that, that would be the cell that has just moved past North Vernon, because I'm assuming that was quite a while ago. So
that was the only report
yes.
that they have. And I believe that we mentioned this, and we were showing this, and we had the track on that, and we showed the red and the yellow.
I'll go back to that here. I'll go back to that here in just a second. So to kind of reset here, show you just the general reflectivity, heavy rain, a lot of lightning, tornado warning, eastern, northeastern Jennings County until 9:45. That's about another half hour. I'll give it 15, 20 minutes, and that rotation, at least that part of it, is going to be off to the east over into Ripley County. And then to the bottom of the hour, it's about 15 minutes from now, they still have the ongoing tornado warning for the extreme north and northeastern part of Jackson County and into western and northwestern Jennings County. But that rotation has been much less than it was a little while ago. Switching back over to our velocity data, and let me get rid of, well, it took care of itself. So the two areas of circulation, you can barely even see the one that's back here just north of of Seymour. So again, I think that one's really weakening out. This is the one that is now east of North Vernon. That is the cell that Alicia was referring to, that the Jackson County folks saw the funnel cloud near Interstate 65 and 925 East. And so what I'm going to do here, since this thing is east of North Vernon and it is about to move over into Ripley County, I want to take you back. And again, I'm sure Indy, given these reports that they're getting, will probably end up doing a storm survey tomorrow, given the rotation signature on radar and the fact that they have gotten some reports. So I'm going to zoom this thing in and take us back.
And while you're zooming in, TG, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Jennings County. We do not have any reports. We did not get any reports so far. We actually had our team call the sheriff's office, and we don't have any reports. But the tornado warning for Jennings County, and this is currently in southeastern Indiana, is in effect until 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time. So again, that's a little bit less than 30 minutes away. The tornado warning for Jennings County in southeastern Indiana is still in effect until 9:45 p.m. And that's what TG and I are talking about. So back to you, TG, on showing them that rotation.
Okay,
here.
So just to give you an idea, what we're looking at here is there's Seymour in Jackson County, and here's that cell that was right on the Bartholomew County line, I believe it was, with Jackson County. Now this was a half an hour ago. This was at 8:45, and this was when the funnel cloud was sighted right near I-65 and 925 East. So that was north of Seymour, and again, that's showing a pretty healthy signature. And then let me broaden it out here, and as it advanced through northeastern Jackson County, it actually kind of got its act together a little bit and was showing a little bit more of a spike up. So I'm going to be interested to see whether we get any reports west of North Vernon around the 9 o'clock Eastern hour, north of US 50 and west of Indiana State Route 7, because that's when the signature on our velocity data was really at its greatest. And then as we've moved through the last 20 minutes, this has passed just across the northern side of North Vernon, and you see now it really appears that it is about to fade, and it's also about to cross the county line out of Jennings County over into Ripley County, and that'll take it out of our viewing area. Don't know if we've got any updates on the warnings. Let me put the warning query back on just to see if they have canceled any of those, because again, the rotation signatures are not what they were by any stretch of the imagination within the last, say, 20 to 25 minutes.
And also, just to mention this, it is moving northeast of some more, but the storm is moving about 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, so these say, I think it's moving quicker than that.
Yeah.
Again, here are your warnings. For our viewing area, northeastern Jackson County and northwestern Jennings County until 9:30, and then north central and northeastern Jennings County, right along US 50, running over into Ripley County until 9:45. It's 9:20, and that cell is, again, almost out of the area. So here's your precipitation. Again, a lot of heavy rain. We got a lot of lightning in this as well. If you're here in Louisville or really anywhere across the rest of Kentuckiana, if you're in Salem, if you're in Scottsburg, if you're in Madison, if you're in Henryville, you're thinking, what the devil's going on here? I got nothing. It looks good. We got a few clouds. It's a warm summer night. Nothing doing here in the metro area. Nothing going on across southern Kentucky. It's just this small sliver of our northern counties, Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings, that have been dealing with the severe weather probably for about the last at least hour and a half, maybe hour and 45 minutes. These cells appeared that they were going to just maybe clip the viewing area and stay north up toward Bloomington, up toward Columbus. But unfortunately, a lot of times, especially when you have these potential individual supercells kind of within a cluster of storms, they can be right turners. They kind of slide to the right as they follow the feed of moisture. And again, they're cutting right across this warm front. And that's one of the reasons that they swung more to the east instead of the northeast, because we literally have that warm front laid across this area probably, well, that's a cold front. Let me get the warm front on here.
And thus far, TG, I know I have to mention this to our viewers. In regards to Jackson County, we only are getting lightning damage, and I'm not getting any reports of any homes being damaged or anything like that. So just some lightning damage, maybe
there may
some tree
be some
limbs
trees,
down.
power lines, that kind of thing. So, that little warm front's just kind of laying right in here. So, the winds go one direction on the north side of it, they go another direction on the south side of it, and that's when you get that circulation, and that's why all of these cells at some point or another have been showing those signs of rotation. Now, looking back toward Bedford, there's another little cell trying to go up just west of you. We take a look at the velocity data here and see if we've got anything cranking with that. Nothing overly impressive. So, at this point, let me take a look and see what's happening over here with the Jennings County cell, because I think we're almost in the clear there, even though that warning is still set to go for another 20 minutes. But that individual cell is moving along. In fact, you can see the rotation. Again, it's not, it's not as strong, it's not as pronounced as it was just a little while ago. And I would say the next scan here, this thing, is moving eastward here. It's going to be over into Ripley County, and that's going to be that. Relative to the warning that goes until 9:45. What still needs to be monitored is this one that has just crossed Interstate 65 in extreme northeastern Jackson County. This thing may have cycled a little bit. Sometimes with these individual supercells, when they're within these clusters, they can weaken out a little bit with the rotation, kind of get their act together again, and then try to re-intensify. Again, the rotation is broad. It's not a very, very tight circulation, but the greens and the reds are a little more pronounced than they were earlier. And again, we're still under that tornado warning here for about another 6 minutes for this area of northeastern Jackson and even into the western part of Jennings County. So ironically, areas that literally just had the rotation within the last half hour, you got another rotating thunderstorm cell that is coming your way as it is crossing US 31 off to the northeast of Seymour and just east of Interstate 65 right now, about to cross the county line out of Jackson County and run into Jennings. So that's where we are right now. Let's see.
And the tornado warning for Jennings County, and like TG and I were just mentioning, I just want to mention this again, is going on until 9:45. And it's still important to be in your safe spot. All right, so whether your safe spot is being in the bathroom, you want to make sure that you're away from the windows, and you want to make sure that you're in the lower part of your home. Getting into a basement would still be good. You want to make sure that you execute your severe weather safety plan. That tornado warning for Jennings County is not over with until 9:45. And like you mentioned too, TG, you said these storms that are just moving towards the east of Samora, moving a little bit more than 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, absolutely here. And just trying to get the chat up here so we can see if we've got any reports, but for whatever reason, it's just.
And I still don't currently see any reports.
It's just one of those. Well, and again, keep in mind the rotation is about 5,000 to 6,000 feet above the surface. That's what the radar is kind of poking into here with these greens and reds. So it's it's fairly decent distance away from the radar site. So that broad rotation is aloft, but given the scenario and the setup that we have up there, it is not out of the realm of possibility to get one of those things down, reaching the ground here. So again, our warnings, the one for Jackson and Jennings, should be expiring here in about 4 minutes. See if I can get the query on here to give you an update on the warnings. That doesn't look like it's going to work, so let me put it on another way. There you go. So until 9:30, Jackson, northeastern Jackson, western, northwestern Jennings County. And then the other one until 9:45, you are almost in the clear east of North Vernon there along US 50. It's moving over into Ripley County where there's a severe thunderstorm warning for that cell off out to the east of our viewing area. So really the only concern at this point is the rotation that we were showing you just a second ago here that is about to cross the Jackson County line and head into Jennings County. Now, the key is I'll be interested to see what the Weather Service does out of Indianapolis, because with the warning set to expire here at the bottom of the hour at 9:30, will they push the tornado warning eastward again to include all of Jennings County, or the northern part of Jennings County, North Vernon northward? Ironically, the same areas that just dealt with it within the last half hour, 45 minutes. So it's been a little while since we've done any tracking, since we haven't had much in the way of rotation. So let me put a track on this cell, and again, ironically, moving east at 30 miles an hour. North Vernon, you had rotation just past to your north, and you have yet again another one that is just to your west. It isn't, again, overly strong, but you see the greens and the reds in a broad fashion here. This is the relative winds, or wind velocity. Keep in mind, the radar site is to the south in Louisville. Any of the data that you see in red, those are winds that are going away from the radar site. Anything that you see in green, those are winds that are going toward the radar site. So this is what we look for as far as rotation within a thunderstorm. And that's one of the reasons that we have those tornado warnings up for parts of Jackson and Jennings County. So right now, that circulation, it's like Groundhog Day. We're doing this all over again. Queensville, Indiana State Route 7, Indiana State Route 3, and US 50 headed toward North Vernon. That is heading your direction. So we'll have to keep an eye on this, and we're about, we're right at 9:30 right now.
Yeah.
We're a couple of minutes, the system clock here is a couple of minutes behind the 8 ball as far as the actual time. So, Alicia, I don't know if there's a way you can get on and see whether that's been dropped or not.
And I sure can. And I'm actually going to be looking to see if we are getting any reports of anything, but I don't see that we have been. But we do know that warning expired around 9:30 there. I don't see anything saying that something was extended.
I managed to get into the Indianapolis chat, and they are expiring the warning for this circulation right here that is now moved, well, it's basically along the Jackson and Jennings County line. So that one expired at the bottom of the hour. Most of the damage reports have been just north of our viewing area up in Monroe County. They had possible tornado, the Ellettsville area. Again, this is out of our viewing area, but some structural damage to buildings. Also in Monroe County, they've got some flash flooding. And, of course, some of the other meteorologists in the area wondering about what they're going to do with the Jennings County storm. And at this point, Indianapolis is saying because of this weak rotation right here, they are going to keep the tornado warning that we have for Jennings County until 9:45. This rotation right here, because it's coming in toward North Vernon. Notice this one is now out of the area. It's over into Ripley County. But since we have another area of circulation that's coming up on North Vernon there along US 50, they're going to keep the warning in place until 9:45. So we've got about another 15 minutes. About another 15 minutes to go. All right, so let's switch around to the again, just the precipitation data, just to kind of give you an idea. Again, some very, very torrential rain. Because the other thing you have to keep in mind, these cells, notice over the last hour or so, they are running over. This takes you back to around 7:15 this evening. Look at what has happened over the last 2 hours. The same areas are continuing to see torrential amounts of rain. That's one of the reasons that back just northwest of Seymour, up toward Nashville and up toward Columbus, they have flash flood warnings because they've probably seen locally 2-3 inches of rain over maybe an hour, 90-minute period of time. So in addition to the potential for the circulation and the tornado up in to Jackson and now really Jennings County. Jennings County is of greater concern. You've got the flash flood threat, and you have a ton of lightning with this as well. At least we did earlier. I think the most prolific lightning maker is now over into Ripley County out of the viewing area, but still, we got a few flashes of lightning. Hopefully this is an indication, because this area is getting worked over, even though it's along that warm front, we will see less in the way of circulation. And then just looking back to the west, we do have other individual cells that are going up. Now, granted, they are north of us and out of the viewing area. This one that is just off to the north of Bedford there, just south of Bloomington, that may have some hail in it. Again, that's not affecting our viewing area, but you see that purple and pinkish view with some lightning in it, and that has a tendency to indicate that we probably have a little bit of hail in that particular cell. So that's just something to keep in mind here as we go forward. That could clip part of Jackson County as well. Just, let's see, coming out of Indy here as of 9:32, which was a couple of minutes ago. Again, they're keeping that tornado warning in place. 9:31, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near North Vernon, about 9 miles northeast of Seymour. Now picking up the pace a little bit at about 40 miles per hour. And so again, it is just raking over the same area again. Let's switch back to the velocity data. The rotation isn't, again, as significant, but here it is right here. So same areas, Queensville, up 7, up 3, and basically if you're in the city of North Vernon and Jennings County, this is basically a repeat of what we did within the last 30 to 45 minutes. You need to be in your safe place. You're under tornado warning for about another 12 minutes till 9:45. Go to a basement. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, the lowest level of your home, preferably a closet, a bathroom. You want to stay away from exterior windows and walls. And if you live in a mobile home, they're great things. They offer affordable housing. They do not do well even in weak tornadoes. So that's part of when we do Severe Weather Awareness Week, Severe Weather Awareness Month. You need to have, especially in a mobile home, a predetermined safe shelter to go to in the event of a possible tornado, because a lot of times you don't have very much time to react. So
And TG, with this, I was noticing that as you were circling the area where we're starting to see that rotation, we don't see any bright pink colors. Yeah. And honestly, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. And it's very, very broad, because you don't have the greens and the reds just right next to each other like we did earlier. And again, looking at the Indianapolis chat here, all of the damage reports have been in the counties just north of our viewing area. Monroe County, Bartholomew County, Decatur County. Those are all the counties that are just north of Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings. So we've kind of dodged things a bit, but we still have that rotation. Queensville on top of you basically right now as it's 9:35, 9:36. So within the next 5 minutes, a repeat of the last 30 to 45 minutes when we had the tornado warning closer to 9 o'clock, 9:15. Again, Jennings County here, it's essentially in your area. We're about 5,500 to 6,000 feet shooting up, and it's broad rotation. So comparatively speaking to what went through a little while ago, not nearly as concerned, still concerned, mind you, because we do have that tornado warning, and the folks at the Weather Service in Indianapolis have elected to continue with that warning until we hit the 9:45 mark. So that's coming up here within the next less than 10 minutes. So hopefully that will be it. So there's your warning for Jennings County, North Vernon, and areas north and east of North Vernon. So just shooting straight on US 50. And there's a new flash flood warning. Remember how I talked just a minute ago about how these storms were training over the same areas with very, very heavy torrential rainfall from Indy. Just literally right now, they're going to make the decision in the next couple of minutes of whether to cancel that tornado warning a couple of minutes early. We've only got 8 minutes until it expires, but they are saying there is definitely a downward trend, which we have been indicating and talking about here over the last 5 to 10 minutes. So at this point, we like the way that things are looking because it is becoming more of a heavy rain and flash flood event, which still can be of great concern and is of concern. But if we can lessen and eliminate the tornado threat, that will definitely be a positive. So I do want to show you the warnings one more time here because we've just popped on that new flash flood warning. So it looks like northeastern Jackson County and basically central and northern Jennings County, you got a flash flood warning all the way until 2 a.m. So if you live in a flood-prone area near a smaller stream or creek, given the amount of rain that we've had over the last 2 hours, probably upwards of 2 to 3 inches, you can get some very, very quick rising water, especially in low-lying areas, and it's past sunset now. It's beginning to get, well, it is dark.
It'll be harder for
here
you
in
to
Louisville.
see it. Yeah.
It's going to be very, very difficult to see. So don't be out driving if you don't have to be in those particular areas because we still have some heavy rain falling. And, the rule of thumb here, turn around, don't drown.
Absolutely.
Never underestimate the power of rushing water, and it is extremely difficult to see at night. So just to kind of give you an idea, let's take you back a couple of hours. We go from nothing and then look at the same areas that have just been raked over with heavier amounts of rain. There's the last image. So from North Vernon back to Seymour, back to Freetown, anywhere northern Jackson and central and northern Jennings County, that's your flash flood warning until 2 a.m. just because of heavier amounts of rain that we have dealt with.
And just recently, TG, I pulled up to really see how high these cloud tops were and to really look at the lightning. Some areas are really not even seeing much lightning at all. So it's really transformed into a storm that's just an all rain event right now. So it's really starting to die down, and that's the reason why that warning is going to possibly expire pretty soon. It's expiring in 5 minutes, rather.
Yeah, we've only got 5 minutes to go on the tornado warning here, but again, we've been on. Unfortunately, like I said, folks in Louisville and most of Kentuckiana saying, hey, why are you blowing out programming? Our far northern counties serving the entire DMA here have had numerous tornado warnings within the last 2 hours. Checking the rainfall and the radar estimated rainfall here over the last, it says 24 hours, but this is going to be really over once it loads up here. You're going to see what you're dealing with. So, again, it's just right there on that fringe area. The heaviest rain radar estimates, 1 to 3 inches basically north of Seymour and north of North Vernon. And this will update probably within the next little bit. And that's going to have fallen within the last probably 60 to 90 minutes. And that will cause you some flash flooding. So just kind of keep that in mind as we begin to wind down our warnings here. They have expired, the tornado warning for Jennings County. So right now, other than the flash flood warning for that area up into northern Jackson and central and northern Jennings County until 2 a.m. Eastern, right now, we're just looking at a heavy rain and thunderstorm event. We don't have any counties, even our northern fringe counties, under tornado warnings right now. So with that, we're going to go ahead and send you back to regular programming. Continue to watch the crawl at the bottom of your screen. The tornado watch still in effect. I think they'll begin to trim counties down as these cells begin to move out of the area, hopefully as that warm front begins to lift to the north just a bit as that area of low pressure tracks to the east. But we'll continue to be here monitoring the situation. Look for updates at the bottom of your screen. And if we get any more tornado warnings, of course, we'll cut back in and keep you posted. But for now, for meteorologist Alicia Ray, I'm meteorologist T.G. Shuck. Let's send you back to regular programming.